Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com. Well, it's almost Christmas and we've got New Year's coming up, so I thought let's do a little appetizer. So today we're going to do a low-carb bacon wrapped Brussels sprout, and then we're going to have a Dijon mustard dip, which is very, very good. It goes lovely together. So anyway, let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. So this is a pretty simple recipe. You can make them quite easily. What I've got is I've got a pound of bacon, and this is actually a little bit of a thicker cut bacon, and I cut it in half, each slice in half, and I'm just going to take my Brussels sprout and I'm just going to roll it. I'm not going to add any toothpicks or anything. I don't want to stretch the bacon because it does shrink. So I just want to make sure it's overlapped a lot so that it'll all stay together. That's basically all you have to do. And I'm just going to make a pound of bacon. So we'll see how many we come up with when I'm finished. Very simple. I'll get these finished and then we're going to make that sauce. So here's my last one. And it ended up being 14 of these little hors d'oeuvres. You can set them this way and cook them that way also if you'd like, but I'm just going to lay mine down. So now we're going to make the sauce, and I've got a half a cup of mayonnaise. Now I use Hellmann's. It has no carb count, which is pretty awesome. And then I've got 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I'm actually using this dip recipe in another recipe that's going to come up in the future with my Malibu chicken. But I love it with this also, so this is why we're going to mix it up. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of erythritol, and I powdered the erythritol. I think I've emphasized that a few times in my videos that I go and buy it at the bulk barn, and I automatically put it through my Ninja machine and powder it up, put it in one of my cookie jars, and anytime I need it, it's ready to go. This dip is just amazing. I love it with when I have ham. I have a nice ham meal and use this as a dip. It's delicious. So I think you gotta try this dip, even if you're not mixing it for this recipe. Try it just with your ham. It's really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I've taken my Brussels sprouts and my bacon, and I'm going to just put a little bit. I set them all up so they sort of have like a little dish in there, and I'm just going to add a little tiny bit into each one, and then we're going to put them in the oven. And this is just to give it a little extra flavor. And you don't have to go overboard. And I'm actually, if you can see the red on the bottom of my baking dish, it's a silicone mat. Now this particular one looks like little cones in it, so all that bacon grease will go into the little cones, and then I can just clean it up after. But just take a little bit of this sauce, the Dijon mustard sauce, and just put some on the top. You're not going overboard on it, because when they're all ready and they're cooked, we are going to use this mustard sauce to dip it in also. So if you want to make more than a pound of bacon, I've got 14 little hors d'oeuvres here. You could just go crazy. So I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for approximately 30 minutes. So it just depends on your oven how they turn out. You might have to do longer, maybe a little bit less, but we want to have that bacon all cooked up and make sure that our Brussels sprouts are nice and tender. So I just got them out of the oven, and I've tried to get them as crispy as possible without burning them. And I made an error on the temperature. It was 375 and it ended up being 40 minutes. So you're just gonna have to play with it. See, it's nice. They're all stuck together. They don't fall apart. As long as you overlap your bacon, that's the important part, because it shrinks and it grabs it, which is really nice. You don't have to use the toothpicks, but I will serve them with toothpicks. And then we're going to, that pan is still really hot, and we're going to serve them with this Dijon mustard dip. It's really, really good. So I think it's time that we give it a try. Okay, so I did try one, and the darn thing was so hot. I put the whole thing in my mouth. So I've cut this one in half so that you can see. I think it's cooled down a little bit now, but we'll give it a try. It was scrumptious. Oh, great combination. And with that, the dip, let me get my little toothpick here. With that Dijon mustard dip, it's really, really good. And I highly recommend you just make this dip when you're having your ham, or even with chicken. It's really, really good. Lovely. Now, I did make an error on the temperature. It was 375. It was approximately 40 minutes. You could go 400. It's just your oven gets so hot, and it'll start smoking a little more. That's up to you. But 375, 40 minutes is what I did mine in, and they're scrumptious, and I just love that Dijon mustard dip. So I hope you go to lowcarbrecipeIdeas.com, try this recipe, and try some of my other ones. And if I don't see you before Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas to all of you. And I just pray you have a wonderful day with your family. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.